We have experienced music leaders whose aim is to be as inclusive as possible from the outset. So what they will be always striving to do in a session is to read the situation and be as welcoming, fun, engaging, and tailor their activities to everybody who comes here. And that could incorporate multisensory activities, it could incorporate singing, movement, whatever we need to use, but of course at the heart of all of this is music. I think the key here is to spot small things, or what might seem quite insignificant to somebody who's perhaps observing for the first time. It could be something that we then work on for a very long period of time that makes all the difference to somebody.
So the longer the children come to us, the more time they spend with us and the more time they get used to the people who we're working with and the routine that we've set up for them, the more that these small achievements kind of come out at different points. The achievements that they have are very spontaneous, so you don't always see them straight away, so it's quite difficult to capture these moments, but when they do happen, it's a big moment for everybody. I work with a little boy called Anthony who is about 5 years old. He's on the autistic spectrum. When we first met him, he came into our room and just used to run around for the whole hour. He didn't actually communicate with us in any way at all. Over time we've worked with him and kind of worked quite closely with his carer as well, and we've now got to the point where he's actually joining in the sessions and being part of the group rather than just being an individual within the group. His special moment for me is Anthony's actually non-verbal, and he came into the room and he picked up a microphone, which he's never done before because he doesn't like microphones, and he sang a song in front of everybody for the first time, and you could hear a pin drop in the room because it's a real big moment for him and for us. We will be kind of working with him to try and bring that side of him back out again and encourage him to have that confidence to do the same thing.
We find in our experience that music sessions are a really good opportunity for families or support workers or people who are coming along to the sessions who are not a participant necessarily, to observe people in a really different environment. It's got nothing to do with medical needs or school or any of those sort of supporting type things that go on in their lives the rest of the time.
My son is Louis Leach, and he's now just coming up to 14 years of age. We adopted him just before he was 3. He came to us with global delay. That was as close as they could get at his age then. As time's gone on, we found that Louis, although originally he was okay with other children of his own age, as he got older, the other children then obviously began to realise that he wasn't quite the same as them, and so his friendships started to disappear, and by the age of probably 9 or 10 he virtually had no friends, and his social skills were absolutely nil, and we were at a loss really of how to combat it. So we wanted to try and find somewhere where he could go, because having no social skills, he had no friends, he didn't go out, and even today he cannot go out on his own. We got in touch with a link worker and they said, well, try Music Zone, the jam band. So we phoned up and they said, yeah, bring him along. The people at Music Zone here were encouraging him, because although he didn't talk to the children, and he doesn't now, he became friendly with the people here. He found he was comfortable with them, and so they were encouraging him along. And he's been coming here now for coming up to 3 years, I would think. Now, if we didn't have Music Zone, he wouldn't have anywhere to practice his skill. He wouldn't have any friends whatsoever. Although he doesn't communicate with them here, he knows them, he's comfortable with them. He can come here, he can play along with them, and it's a release from him being sheltered in home and not being able to go out. And without it, really don't know what he could do, because apart from sitting on the computer at home, occasionally playing his piano, he wouldn't have any friends or any social life. So we're very, very pleased with what has been achieved by him coming here. They asked if he would play in the concert. Now, the previous Christmas, he wouldn't. He came and he sat in the audience, but he wouldn't play. He said to me that he wouldn't play, he was too frightened. But anyway, we came and we sat in one of the rows there, and we watched the other acts. And when the jam band was called, Lewis was the first out of his seat. He was shaking, but he was first out of his seat, and he opened the number. And it was absolutely fantastic to see him up there playing, and he went through their routine, and I was so pleased and so proud of what he'd achieved. And if you can imagine, if he hadn't have come here, there was nowhere that I could find that could have given him that joy and me that joy. And he's back here again today, and he's playing as usual. And I'm absolutely thrilled with Music Zone and Jam Band. I really am.